Ryan, thanks for joining the show. Great to have you here. You are the founder of Tub Club, a men's bubble bath and self-care brand redefining what relaxation looks like for modern men.
Wait, did I write that?
I don't know.
That last line?
I'm just looking at
It's good. I want that when we're done.
Yeah,
I like that and the ending. I'm gonna take that.
Dude, yeah. Go ahead. This might have been written by AI. I have no idea.
It's very good.
I have no idea who writes these. That's hilarious.
All right.
I just show up and there's a paper.
Well, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that in some posts.
Cool. Yeah. For sure. So I think you first came on my radar. You posted something on LinkedIn. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah. So I just posted. I'm really private.
Mm-hmm.
It won't seem like it in this, like one-on-one or just in this setting. You know, I'm open as it gets, but on social media, like I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the guy. I'm not built for that. And so Tub Club was an idea since 2019, and I was busy doing other stuff, but I started building it, and there were some barriers and hurdles in the way, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to publicly announce what I'm doing because shame will force me to the finish line.
That's cool.
Like, this is my boat burning, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because no one knew what I was doing, but maybe like, I don't know, just a handful of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just posted reality, which was had it all, lost it all. I mean, literally lost it all. Living in my car in the snow, you know, in the winter. Actually, it wasn't even my car. I was living in someone else's car. And it's like, how do you come back from this divorce, losing every penny?
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm going to write about this. I'll just say what's going on. I put out like, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 job applications. Like, I couldn't even get interviewed to like drive a snowplow.
Really?
Yeah. I just applied last week to sell drones at a mall kiosk. I can't even get screened for that.
Why?
I don't know. You know, I don't know. But like, I'm in a startup, right? It's like, well, you just gotta hustle till it happens, right? So I kind of know why. Like, how are you gonna hire me? Right?
Tell me. Why wouldn't somebody hire you?
Well, who's gonna look at my LinkedIn? Like, look at my resume. It's like angel investor in Ripple, like founder of like a pretty big company. It's like I think the second largest first aid kit in North America now. Yeah. Maybe the largest. And I'm just like, dude, I got 8 kids. I just want a job. And I'll like moonlight my startup. Right. And so like, imagine being a hiring in
They're
HR.
probably like, this guy's going to bounce.
Yeah, this guy's going to bounce.
Fast.
Like his whole career. We don't know what to do with military dudes, first of all. And second of all, like, what do I do with this professional experience where he's expert at nothing? And that's what we want, you know, and I'm not from Utah. So that's a knock.
You're from Southern California, right?
Yeah.
So you grow up there and then you graduate high school. What do you do?
I didn't graduate high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
So when did you drop out?
Okay.
Did you drop out? I mean, how did that work?
Okay. So, well, for simplicity,
By the way, isn't it kind of hard to not graduate high school?
Yeah, it's also hard to get a 0.8 GPA in community college, but I did that too.
Hell yeah. No, I think that makes sense.
No, here's the deal. Is my stepdad's an orthodontist, and they got married when I was 5 or 6. And I'm the last kid by like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. Mm-hmm. Like there's the gap, 8 or 9 years between me and the next kid, right? And so they're done with kids, and they're like, well, we're going to build an orthodontic practice in LA. I'm like, they don't have time. Well, I'm sure that now that I'm a dad, I'm like, yeah, you had time. But they were just workaholics. I learned work ethic from them, I think to a fault. But I was having trouble in school. I was basically getting straight Fs. I think I got a D- in PE.
You just didn't care.
In 7th grade. Yeah, like if you leave me in the back of the class, I'm the guy that's going to start a fire because I'm just bored and I like want to figure out how to make the fire. Right? It's like I'm not like trying to be mean or anything. You know. And I didn't understand how to learn yet. Like teachers didn't know. Like I was in special ed in elementary school I was in speech therapy. I didn't learn to read till I was like 9 or 10.
Why did they think like you had some condition, or what was that?
No. Um,
You just didn't care, or what was it?
well, I mean, divorce is rough on kids.
Yeah, you're
And
not kidding.
and everyone was older.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hectic. And like, I just kind of like, everyone just kind of forgot about me. So I was just like on my own, an afterthought in the family,
Yeah.
you know? So, so in school, it's like, I can't figure out like what's going on here. And I couldn't read. So that sucked. And I was this fat kid who just ate top ramen and played video games. And I was very good at those two things. But school, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Right. Mm-hmm. And so junior high rolls around. It was just, now you're getting letter grades. Right.
Yeah.
Mom's seeing letter grades and it's like, what do we do? So she was like, well, we could, it's either like military school, which, like looking back, I'm like, I wish I would have gone to military school. It would have been great. Right. But at the time, I'm like, dude, I just told her, I'm like, I'm running away. If you do this, you're not going to see me. I'm just middle and not I'm out. I was 13 or something. So she pulls me, we start homeschooling when homeschooling was weird in the 90s in LA.
Yeah.
And,
it's probably still weird in LA.
And they were gone from like 6, 7 in the morning to like 7, 8 at night. So they just left me. So like I'm 13 years old. I'm left at home. And like, what is
the 13? Doing?
They're working.
But they were orthodontists.
Yeah. So my mom ran the practice.
Oh,
and my stepdad was the doc.
Okay.
Right. And they were just addicted to this. And so I was just latchkey kid. So it's like, all right, well, I went and bought a guitar and got a skateboard and started learning punk songs and taught myself, and didn't do any school. I just slept in, watched cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like such an awkward fat kid. And so I thought like, well, guitar, girls are going to think I'm cool. And like a skateboard, girls are going to think I'm cool. And it turned out girls did not think I was cool. Just dudes thought I was cool. Right. And
it's even better anyway.
Yeah. And then I figured out that my mom, when she bought the homeschool stuff, that she bought the answer books. So I'm like, well, I've seen MacGyver. So I went and like figured out how to like open the door to the room where like she kept it all. So I just photocopied it all and I just cheated and wrote all the answers down. Because I was like, what? I'm learning the same thing. 7th grade was just 6th grade all over, right? 8th grade was just 7th grade. And I'm catching on to this. And I'm like, I'm not playing this game. I'm not doing this. So that's how it went. And then 9th grade, I went back for a couple months. And then same things were happening. I'm failing. I'm getting in trouble. I'm ditching every day. All my friends were older. So they'd come and pick me up. I'd run. And I'm like this crust punk. Like my clothes are dirty and gross, and like I'm getting kicked out of the house off and on, with my parents, and sometimes stay with my dad, sometimes not. Lie to both of them, stay somewhere else entirely for weeks at a time, So it was this really like kind of interesting life. And then after sucking at high school for a few months, my mom's just like, well, we're going to pull you out again. Same thing, military school right? And I'm like, okay, same thing, right? And so I just went and photocopied the answers again. All I remember is that I photocopied all 4 years because she bought them all because she got a discount. That's how my parents were, right? It's like Costco mentality for everything. Buy in bulk, get a discount. And so I just submitted for 2 months. I'm like furiously like copying answers, sneaking in and out of the room. I felt like it was like a thief in a movie, like a jewel thief, right? Because you're still this kid, and they're away at work, and I'm doing this, and I'm like trying to like cover my tracks to not get caught when they get home, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And
so I submitted everything, and I'm like, I'm done, and I don't know what happened after that, but I guess I must have been 16 now. And I told my mom, or I asked her, I was like, can I just move out? And she's like, do you owe anyone any money? And I'm like, just you. I owed her like $300. She said, pay me and you can leave. Right.
Whoa.
And I'm like 16 now that we're older. Right. Like that's young,
yeah, It's wild.
And I thought she was joking. And I think maybe she thought I was joking, but I paid her and I packed a backpack and I flew to Hawaii. I didn't know anybody. I just got off the bus and or the plane, and I took a bus up north, and I just found people and I was like, hey, can I live with you? Till someone said yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm like 16, 17,
Nuts,
living in
dude.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Why Hawaii? Just because it's...
Oh, surfing. I grew up surfing,
Okay.
you know, I guess not grew up, but like 12, 13, I start getting into that. Again,
Mhm.
I think girls think I was
Mhm.
cool, but not. They didn't. Just
Yeah.
more dudes. And so I'm like, I'll go to Hawaii and I'll just surf. And so I just played ukulele in the streets for music most days. And then I just live off of like frozen yogurt from BYU that I'd get for free.
Heck yeah.
Spam, and I'd fish, and then I'd surf.
Sounds perfect. Why did you ever give that up? What are you doing?
I called my buddy Brian that I grew up with. I grew up with these three dudes, and spent every day together since we were like 5 or 6. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I'm so bored. I have no one to surf with. I'm like, dude, I'm so bored. I have no one to surf with. So the next day I flew back.
Hmm.
And so flew back. We went surfing right away. You know, this is I guess early 2000s now.
So when you come back to LA, do you have a place to stay?
No,
So you're just like living out of your car or his car? Or?
I mean, at one point I lived in a friend's closet. I lived under a couch in a garage. My buddy Will. And, like I woke up and like rats are eating my fingers and
Holy
toes.
shit.
It was wild. I'm like, whoa, right?
And so you're
And
doing this for a while, and
living in
then
a car.
at what point, like, what makes you decide to join the army?
So I was in bands. I was in punk bands, hardcore bands, playing guitar, singing, and which is like very entrepreneurial, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
the whole band concept.
Musicians are entrepreneurs, 100%.
Product developers,
Yeah.
right? It's like all these things. Right? So I'm doing that, playing in bands, community college, failed that. I got a 0.8. And
You should wear that as a badge of honor. That's cool.
I kind of do. Again, I still hadn't learned how to learn in that environment. It was really difficult for me to like sit there and pay attention and get talked at.
Yeah.
And then you got to write notes, and we're like trying to memorize, right? It's like that conversation's been had a million times. Everyone's heard that, right? And so I was that kid. And so I'm failing that. I'm working odd jobs, making a couple $100 a month usually. I got fired from over 25 jobs before I was 20.
That's cool.
I didn't have a single job I didn't get fired from. Even my parents fired me, which I actually worked hard for them. That was but usually like I'd mouth off to a manager. I'm like, hey, why are we doing it this way?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are we doing? Why are we doing the bagels this way? You know, like I worked at this bagel place, and this old guy, Fred, we're throwing bags, like mountains of bagels away every day. I'm like, dude, we're throwing the money away. And so I gave him an idea. He was so mad because it's like
Yeah.
17, 18,
Yeah.
you know, maybe 19-year-old kid. I don't know. And he's in his 50s. Right. And so I'm like, kind of had it out with him. And it was like, I'm incessantly late, or I'm arguing about how business should be done when I have no business in their business. Right.
Yeah.
So
But Army's the exact
So,
opposite.
yeah.
Of everything.
So that culminates into like I'm crashing at my dad's house in the high desert in Victorville, California, with buddies down at the beach in my truck. You know, it's
Mhm.
like I'm so transient. Yeah. So usually I don't usually tell this, but why not, right?
Yeah. Why not, man?
So I'm driving down the 10 freeway to go to class. Rare thing. But there must have been no surf, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, like 2004. And the word army pops in my head. And I'm like, okay. Like thought nothing of it. And maybe the next day I'm driving, I don't know, to go surfing or something. Probably not class. And same thing at the same spot on the freeway. Army. This happens over the course of like 2 weeks, but every time I'm at this spot on the freeway, it gets louder. It's like, it's just getting louder. And it's strange because I don't have anyone in the military in my family, like my grandpa, right? But like, that's so distant.
Yeah. All of our
You know,
grandpas.
yeah.
Did that.
And so I had no like tangible connection to the military. And I'm like this like loser, punk rock dropout, like can't keep a job, mouthy guy, and just the opposite, right, of what Uncle Sam wants. But after about 2 weeks, the word army is so loud that I don't remember what happened other than I'm on the freeway in my 1979 Ford F-150. That's just primer gray.
Mm-hmm.
I spray painted skulls and crossbones on the doors, and it said "Surf or Die" from front to end in like the Wonder Years Chinese restaurant lettering, because I thought that was so cool at the time. So I cut out the cardboard, I spray paint it, right? So "Surf or Die," skulls and crossbones. And then the tailgate said, "I make my own gravy." I didn't even know what it meant. It just sounded funny. And so it was so loud. The next thing I remember, I'm parked in front of an Army recruiting station in Pomona, California, that I've never been to in my life. All I can think is God was so annoyed at me. He's just like, dude, you're a wreck. And he just yelled, right? He yelled so loud that like, I don't even remember the next 2 minutes. But I guess I pulled off, and I don't remember driving there. And, this is like MapQuest was just invented.
Yeah.
So it's not like I got on my phone. I was like, where's the recruiting station?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd never been there. So I parked, I walked in, and the guy's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, I just looked around, I said, I want to do that. This is what was on the sign. And what was on the sign, it's like, you don't know. It's all marketing. Right? Yeah. But I actually ended up doing what was on one of the things that was on the vinyl banner. So I enlisted as a private, and my first job was I was a Blackhawk crew chief in the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. It's the unit that is portrayed in the movie Blackhawk Down. That's the aviation unit. And so I did that for 6 years. And then when I was up for staff sergeant, I just wanted more. Everyone I was working with was dying. If they weren't dying, they had substance problems. They were hunched over. Backs are a mess. They're getting cancer. Like, it's a hard life. Yeah. The community, the special operations community, is a rough life. I just wanted more. Once I got into the Army, I was going to say I thrived. It was a process, because you took everything I just explained and you threw me into this very rigid thing, right? It turned out it was the best thing for me. I was on a team. I mean, even from basic training, like, you're on teams, you're handed these problems and you're not told how to solve them. You're given guidance, but it's loose. You're getting yelled at, you're uncomfortable. You're hungry, you're cold. And I'm like, dude, you're paying me to do this? Like, I'll pay you to do this. This is like Boy Scout camp for adults. I love it. Yeah. And you're giving me a gun. I loved it. And, but it took me, I guess, all the training was like almost a year and a half before I got to my unit. And so I get there and it's like, okay, I'm good at this. I'm thriving now after a good 1 to 2 years. I'm really getting into a groove, and I was excelling. I had learned how to learn. The Army taught me that. School never did. So once I figured out how to learn, like, I could sit through anything. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't need to take notes. Like, it just, something clicked. And so anyway, yeah, I just wanted more. I saw these guys and they were having rough lives. And I thought, well, if I'm going to have a rough life, at least I just want a little bit more out of it. So I applied to this officer program. I got picked up. I stayed active duty while, getting my commission as an officer. And I didn't choose aviation. I chose to be an engineer because I felt like I was disconnected from combat. Because it's like, if I was talking to someone who was in, this would be the wrong way to explain it. But for civilians, I think it's the right way. It was like being in a video game. Like, you're far away. Yeah. And I wanted to be up close. And I didn't want to slow down. So even though I was leaving special operations and becoming an engineer, I became what's called a sapper. So we were demolitions experts. That's what I wanted. I wanted action. I wanted to be close, and I wanted danger. And And so I got it. I sure got it. And so then in 2010, I switched, and then I became a ground guy, and just blowing crap up was the name of the game.
Were you deployed?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go?
So, Iraq, Afghanistan, and couple short missions, doing different things. One of the things that crew chiefs do is DART, downed aircraft recovery teams. So if it was stateside, or just if it was our aircraft, we'd have to go, and it crashed, and it's our guys, like, we have to go get it. So we got to go basically pick up body parts, separate it from aircraft parts. You're like picking up your friend's lungs and stuff. And so we do that. So, those take you to all random places, or you got to support a mission in South America. It's not like a big deployment, right?
Yeah.
My big traditional deployment that people typically understand the military for, a year long. I went to Southwest Afghanistan, into this place called Helmand, and spent a lot of time in the Helmand province and Sangin. Sangin's like Compton of Afghanistan. Like, it's a gnarly it's a wild place. So, but
what did you learn from that? Like, you get out of that. Well, what had you leave the Army? I mean, it sounded like you were thriving.
Yeah. So, I had been married twice in the Army by the time I became an engineer. And so, when I was an engineer, I guess I was single again, no kids yet. And, I was approaching 30, and I'm like, all right, I really like this Army thing. And I've got, getting a spot to go try out for SF, or like Green Berets, or to go to Ranger School, as an engineer. Like, those take some politicking and a lot of hard work. So it took me a long time to get those lined up. And so I'm like, okay, I've kind of got my career set. Like, I can kind of see the next 20 years if they'll keep me that long. And I'd already been in, I guess, 9 years. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to try dating. And I was stationed in Washington State, which the whole state's kind of like a trailer park, like even more than Florida. and I'm Mormon. I'm like, not your stereotypical one, I guess, but there was no one. I'm like trying to get dates with like girls with decent morals and who aren't super ugly. Look, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't have the highest standards on looks. Personality, I have high standards, right? I'm like, so I was open to whatever. And man, there was nobody. There was no one out there. And then I'd go on dates with these girls, and I just couldn't have a conversation with them. So I'm like, all right, let's do online dating, which back then it was like, you don't talk about it. It was Fight Club.
Yeah.
So I came up with a little process, and I'm like, all right, be very efficient with that. I have a lot of time with my job. And so anyways, going on all these dates, and wasting my time with that. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to give it one last shot. If I meet someone by the time I'm 30, great. Let's try getting married. Third time's the charm. And if not, like, it's okay. Like, I'll marry the Army. I'm good with that. So I meet some girl in Florida, and within 24 hours, I told her I was going to marry her. I was like, look, I don't know when. I haven't even seen her, right? Because like, I don't even think FaceTime was out yet. And I was like, it's going to sound weird, I'm sure, to you, but I'm going to marry you. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And so 8 months later, I ended up marrying her. And, but the condition was I had to leave the Army. She's like, I'm not signing up for that. She knew enough about it. It was like, I don't want to be a military wife. And I don't blame her. It's the wives should get medals too.
Yeah.
If they stick it out, it's hard. And so, we dated long distance, and then we got married in 2013. And so, then I just like it's a 1-page or 2-page document. You just tell the Army, like when your initial contract's up as an officer, your time, you have to give them a few years, and then after the clock kind of hits that mark of say 3-4 years or whatever, every day that you're in, you can choose to quit as an officer. Enlisted, it's different. And so I had been in long enough that I could just go at any time. So I just submitted, and I'm like, all right, let me out. They approved it. It was in the middle of the war, and so yeah, we got married. We tried to move to California. So expensive. Tried to move to Irvine.
Oh yeah.
And this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The lease was almost $4,000.
Yeah.
You had to have a permit to park your own car in your own driveway.
Yeah.
I was like,
California's nuts.
Dude, I just fought for like, I just lived the life I lived, and I'm not signing up for this nonsense. Yeah. So I wanted to go where the living was easy. We had started, right as I was getting out, I started an investment company, or I guess a family office, without knowing it. We were helping this nonprofit get started here in Utah. This at the time, it didn't exist. No one knew who it was. Now I think everyone does. But the guy was like, "Well, I'm going to set up shop in Utah," and we were really
do you not want to say who it is?
No, I say who it is. I don't care. I'm old enough.
What's
now.
the nonprofit?
Operation Underground Railroad.
Oh yeah, okay.
So,
as soon as you said, as soon as you didn't want to say what it was.
Yeah, no. It's
So you met Tim?
Yeah, he's the reason, or me and my, the family office were the reason he could leave the government. Like we wrote him a personal check of like a lot of money the day I met him so he could leave. I was like, give me a number. What is it going to take for you to leave and support your family? This isn't like a hotel in downtown Salt Lake. I'm technically still in the Army when this is happening. And he was like, oh, and he's really uncomfortable, right? This is like 3 a.m.
Wild.
And so he's like, I don't know. I think I can't remember the amount. It was close to $100,000, I think. And I'm like, all right, great, let's do it. Cause I'm like military mindset. I'm like, this is the mission, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not going to like sit around and talk. We're going to do. I didn't know anything about him at the time. I just knew that he wanted to save kids. And earlier that day, I had met with Jerry Mullen, who made Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Minority Report, all those movies with Steven. And so I met with him and his team, and they're like, we want to make a movie and a show with Tim. And I'm like, let's do it. So just earlier that day, we had written a check for $2 million for them to go and make this.
Was this with Angel Studios?
No, this is before Angel existed.
This is before Angel?
This is 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is October 2013. And so I'm still not out. I didn't get out till January 14, but I had leave, so I was taking it to do work. And so then they're like, oh, Tim's coming in, so let's get you guys together. So we met at a hotel like 3 a.m. That same day, or I guess the next morning. And I was like, let's do this, man, because he's an agency guy, I thought, and I'm, this mill guy. And so very mission minded. I'm like, we're going to go save kids. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so we just did it. And then he moved to Utah. He started OUR a couple months later. But we were already filming rescue missions,
Yeah. Would you go on them?
No, I had to promise my now ex-wife. I had to promise her I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Because she's like, dude, I just left that. You can't, like, you got your time and you said you were done. I was itching to go.
Yeah.
But no, I stayed back, and we had a baby on the way. And so I was being dad as best I knew.
But you didn't want to join you didn't want to join OUR? Or?
So I was on the advisory board.
Okay.
But like I said at the beginning, like I'm pretty private. And so I just didn't want my name out there. It wasn't about that. It was like, you guys go save kids. Let's make a bunch of movies and TV shows and stuff. And I got companies to build and go invest and stuff. Right. And, of course I was dying to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But, Like I committed to something. I was going to see it through.
So that's a crazy, wow. That's a big Utah story right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I was a part of that until I think I sent them a letter like resigning from the board in 2018 when okay, so I told them we're not going to give any money to the charity. I'm not giving you guys this penny for the charity. But what we will do is use capitalism for like its greatest purpose. And Jerry is the one who told me this. He's like, look, when I made Schindler's List, we were making a documentary about it's the past. He goes, I'll never forget this. It was the Wells Fargo building, I think, in downtown Salt Lake. Anyway, we met there, and he said, it wasn't like you could watch the movie and leave, and we just had a bunch of guns at the door. You could go grab a bunch of guns and go kill all the Nazis, right? Like it's over. And the Holocaust is done. He said, but this is our modern Holocaust, is children being trafficked for, for anything, but specifically
sure.
sex slavery, right? Human trafficking, whatever the buzzword at the moment is right now.
But what was the charity? Like, I actually don't even really understand.
OUR was like, give us money and we'll go rescue kids with the money. But Jerry was like, okay, we could make a movie and a TV show. Sorry, I lost focus on that one. But like, he was like, look, if we make a movie and a TV show about, imagine if we were in the middle of the Holocaust. Imagine if that was happening right now and we made Schindler's List in the middle. And we had guns at the door. That's what we're doing. He's like pitching me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get this. Like, this makes sense. How could you not be a part of this?
Yeah.
I said, okay, instead of just writing a check to the foundation, because we already gave him and his wife, like we gave them money to survive for, to move to Utah and to buy food and live so he could build it. I said, as Jerry and I talked, and it was like, well, if we made money off of the movie and the episodes for the TV series we made that no one ever got to see, every episode and every film makes a profit. Well, we could just continue to reinvest and continue in more and more content. And if the content by its very nature is rescuing kids, then it's this never-ending cycle of we make great content that's compelling and it rescues kids.
It rescues and it brings awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we could continue to use that to go do good. And we could use the profit to expand the content or to go invest in other like social good causes like, that we were into. Like heal the sick, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, that kind of concept. As a family office, like that's what we are committed to. So that's what brought us to Utah, though, was we're so invested in this had never been done, right?
No, it was a big
so
deal.
we're like, we got to make sure this happens. In California, is like we love it, but it's not. We don't want to raise a family here.
Yeah.
So we moved to Utah, sight unseen for a Zillow house, and end up in Draper, Utah. It's like,
heck yeah, dude.
We show up and the prison's still there.
Yeah.
And it's small. Draper is still really small but growing. And we moved up on the mountain, Travers Ridge.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we're about halfway up the mountain. And we ended up renting another house that was at the top in Suncrest. And I think the secret's out on Utah now.
Yeah.
But at the time it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, the second house we had, I could see both lakes.
Yeah,
and you're looking at mountains that like
the
look
views
like
up
the
there are
Alps.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the views anywhere in Utah are nuts.
So it was wild. And
so you resigned from OUR.
Yeah, 2018 because it was getting kind of fishy.
Just difference of opinion, and
they stiffed us for a lot of money.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
So.
there's been a lot of controversy.
Yeah, over time, we had a deal with quite a few networks to sell the film and the television show. Fox made an offer. Netflix was interested. I can't, it's been so long. I can't
Yeah.
remember everyone, but like these are major players, right?
Sure.
And they were into it. The one that was into it most was Fox. Like Rupert Murdoch went nuts
Mm-hmm.
for it. But we found out later that every single deal got, we got screwed over behind closed doors by Tim because he wanted it all. He couldn't stand to not have 100% of it and be, have all the money, have all the fame. And none of us were there for that. And so no deal ever happened. And, eventually it was like, okay, this guy just wants book deals and money. And like contractually, he's just violating what we agreed to. All we're asking for is what we agreed to. So, there's like tens of millions of dollars that we just never went after because we just, at the time, the mission of rescuing kids was not what it is today because The Sound of Freedom hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Right. And so is all these other movies before that and the work happening before that. And so we just felt like, well, we did this because we wanted kids to be rescued, not because we wanted to get rich or richer, right?
Yeah.
As an organization. And so we let it all go. We never went to court. We never sent a nasty letter. We just walked away.
Wow.
Because
Have you ever told this story before?
No one's ever heard this.
Oh, wild.
You're you and Silicon Slopes. This is all
This is wild.
the first time.
I didn't even know you. Yeah, I didn't know.
I'm sure I'm going to get like nasty letters from attorneys from OUR because OUR now is different. Tim's not involved, but Tim's notoriously litigious. And so I'm sure I'll get a nasty letter.
Well, there's a bunch of he runs something.
I don't even know.
I don't know either.
I hope he's turned his life around. I don't know. But the logic was this: we met as a team and we said, okay, if we take them to court, it's all public. And what's that going to do for human trafficking, anti-human trafficking, right? And child rescue at large. And logically, we just kind of Occam razored it. And we're like, right, like we war gamed the thing. And we're like, well, in the end, we're just going to put a black eye on this cause, which is a relatively new concept, very new concept at the time. And in 2018 still. And so we just thought, if we just let it go, then the work can continue because it's sort of for the greater good. Is he going to continue to screw people? Yeah, but he would do that anyway, court or not, probably, right? And so were other people in the organization going to do foul things? Yeah, probably. So what were we really gaining and what were we losing? And we felt like what we were losing was far greater than money because it was kids.
So that's fascinating. I had no idea you had any connection to that when I walked in here.
If you want to see the series, I have all the links. They've been vaulted and no one will ever see them. But
fascinating.
And privately, I'm sure you can watch them, I guess.
All right. So you do this fund, and one of the things that you invest in is OUR.
Yeah.
How did you?
I guess entertainment.
Yeah. How did you get the fund together? Like, how were you doing this? How did you get the money to do all that?
Oh man. Okay. So, sorry, my allergies are bad today. I keep wiping my eye like I'm crying.
Bring it up, Tim.
You're getting me emotional. Yeah.
That's what I do, dude.
I was engaged to my third wife, who I have my kids with, and right before, a couple weeks before we're going to get married, she goes, "I have to tell you something." And I'm like, "Okay." I'd been in the Army long enough. I knew when a woman tells you that you either need a doctor or a lawyer or both. Right. So it's like, oh, great. What am I getting myself into? What don't I know about? And so she starts telling me the story about how a few years before we met, her dad, I didn't know this, as I should have. You shouldn't marry a dude who like doesn't ask about your parents. First of all, let me just put that out there. I was not marriage material. So I didn't even think to ask.
Right.
Yeah. I knew her dad had died, but I didn't know how to approach that. I can handle military death. Like that's just it's like drinking water, right? It's like, that
Mhm.
was my life. But for civilians, it's a really uncomfortable thing for me. Ooh, like, I don't know how you approach that with someone.
Yeah.
So I never asked. She says, okay, well, my dad died in a car crash. A semi truck turned left in front of him. He was driving home from work. This is in New Mexico, where he was an engineer building a cement plant. And he crashed, into the semi truck and died. And well, what came out is that the insurance company for the trucking agency didn't want to pay the $5 million settlement, right? And so they got a law firm here in Salt Lake, because they have extended family here, and my ex does. And they took it on contingency, and they started investigating. So what came out of it, bottom line, is that the driver of the semi truck in New Mexico had formerly been a judge in that county.
Oh,
So he went from judge to semi truck driver, right? So not a great guy. I'm sure he's up to no good. Well, he wasn't licensed, and he had been driving past the legal limit of like hours you can drive and miles and stuff. And again, it's been a long time, so I might be getting a couple details wrong. But if anyone wants to search this online, you can find it pretty easy.
Yeah.
The news reports and stuff. But he made an illegal left-hand turn. So her dad crashes. He's alive for about 30 minutes. And the ambulance shows up. 5 minutes later, on the way to the hospital, he dies, in the ambulance. It ends up there's a cover-up between the former judge, now truck driver, the owner of the trucking company, the insurance company, which was a Berkshire Hathaway portfolio piece,
Oh, weird.
and local law enforcement who arrived on scene because they knew the driver because he had been a judge, right? They tried to, I guess, frame is maybe the word. I don't know what you could call it that. I guess post-mortem framing of my ex-father-in-law, her dad, that he was like drunk or on drugs, like something, right? It was like it was his fault. And so they didn't want to pay, they're like, we're not paying. And they thought it would be cheaper to just not pay. They said, we'll give you nothing. It's like, what? So the law firm finds all this stuff out. And it got to the point where the trucking company took all of the paper logbooks, because they were doing paper logbooks back then, to the dump. They paid off the employees at the dump, I guess, and they went and burned the books in a pile, like charred, right?
This is like a movie.
I know.
You have like a million movies in your life, dude.
I know.
This is wild.
You're the first podcast I've ever been on.
This is so wild.
I always turn them down. And so they hire a PI from Salt Lake. This law firm hires the PI in New Mexico. He's learning all this stuff, right? They send him. This is years. This is taking years. It's like Aaron Brockovich stuff, right? And so he goes to the dump. He's learning that this happened. Somehow gains access. Who knows how? I don't think anyone cared to ask, but he got in there. He found the location, because they keep records of where things happen in a dump. So he finds the record, goes to the location, finds, digs. They find these charred remains of every single logbook, and I'm not even kidding. Out of hundreds, I don't know, maybe 1,000 logbooks. This is a big trucking company, been around a long time. There was only one that was not burned. You can't make it up. And it was the one that showed the judge being totally out of regulation, against the law, all this stuff, not licensed. It was in the only book that was not damaged beyond, readability. So, he gets it, and finally they put the case together, and she says, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta go. And I gotta go down to New Mexico, and because my dad, blah, 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 right? So she calls me at one point and is like, oh, the case is over, right? It had gone on, I don't know, maybe a week. She goes, so I guess next is like the verdict.
Yeah, like how much money?
Yeah. So she goes, I don't know how long that'll be. It could be, I don't know. Right. And my legal experience is limited to Law and Order reruns on like TBS and
Yeah.
TNT,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I know how this goes. Right. So, but they came back real quick. They came back within, I don't know, hours. She calls me again. She's like, they're back with a verdict. We're going to go in and hear it. I'm like, okay. So then she calls me back and she goes, you're not going to believe this. Right. And so she says, the foreman, this woman, gets up and for the first time, I guess, in New Mexico history, like reads a statement and says, we're not going to let you, she's talking to the insurance company and the trucking company, right? We're not going to let you take advantage of like good American people, like salt of the earth, anymore. We're going to make you an example. So guilty on all charges. Everyone involved, guilty, every charge. Yeah, flat out. So then next was the the settlement. I don't know if that's the right word, but when they announce the damages, yeah. So the foreman, this lady gets up and she goes, it's like I don't know, $58 or $68 million.
That's so much money.
So she calls me. Now prior to this, she goes, before she went down to New Mexico, she's like, I'm probably going to get like 50 grand from this. What should I do? Well, I had to become an engineer officer, you have to have a degree. I went for finance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. They don't, I guess I have some like book knowledge, right? Finance. Yeah. I said, just pay off any debt you have and then just put the rest in a 401k or whatever, right? IRA. And she's like, okay. I said, so you just keep being a nurse. I'll just do a startup, be a business guy, and that's it. Well, then everything happened, right? So they read the settlement. She calls me back. She goes, 60, close to $70 million, something around there. And she goes, what do we do now? And I'm like, I remember saying like, well, they don't teach us about this in finance undergrad. And so I said, I don't know, I have to call some people. And so I said, but honestly, they're going to appeal this. They're just going to, you're not going to see anything. So just count it as a win, non-monetary win. Well, the next day they came back uncontested.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so that all went to her?
It went to her and her siblings. And so they split it after attorney's fees. It was all tax-free. And they're like, what do we do now? They asked me. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm just this dumb Army guy who's been fired from every job I've ever had. Like, I'm just getting out of, the military. Like, I'm still in. This is July of 2013. I'm still in.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten off a deployment. Like, I'm just fresh off of Afghanistan. Wild deployment. And I was not the guy, looking back on it, I'm not the guy you should have been consulting.
Yeah.
But I was the guy who was definitely not going to steal. So, which is, when you're in this world, you learn that's, that's a solid right there. Yeah. Just not getting stolen from. So I said, all right, let me call some people who are smarter than me. So I called some attorneys and, business dudes I knew. And I was like, what do we do? So we, I came back to them. I got some different ideas and I thought of, I worked on it, worked on the problem. I came back, I said, well, what if we pooled all the money together? I didn't know what I was saying, right? I was saying family office. I said, what if as a family, we just pooled the money together and we invested in things that would like honor your dad? And they're like, we love it. Right. And so it came up with like a 4-pillar investment strategy that was, like I said, clothe the naked, heal the sick, feed the hungry, liberate the captive. We didn't know how prescient that would be. Like, right. Like liberate the captive. Who, this is July. We're coming up with this August. And we're like, we're going to use capitalism to liberate the what? And then a month later, Jerry Mullen.
Wow.
Oscar Award winner. I'm sitting in there. I'm still in the Army technically. And I'm like in a meeting with this guy talking about liberating the captive through capitalism.
Yeah, that's wild.
The guy who made Schindler's List, like, and a bunch of other great movies. I think he made Tootsie.
Oh, really?
Classic.
Yeah.
Days of Thunder. Right, like some great movies. So it was just wild. But that's how I ended up starting the investment firm. It was all together by accident. And initially we were just like, well, let's just hand the money off to private wealth management.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. And it turned out they were churning the funds, billing us nickel and diming everywhere, 2 and 20 here, 2 and 20 in a fund that they were not disclosing they were also a part of.
Right.
Right. And so their compliance guy came to us, very discreetly, and I ended up hiring him on the spot, saying, hey, these guys are taking advantage. So, okay, well, you're fired. The firm is fired. Like, we'll manage it. And I said, okay, what do you guys want to do? What do we do? Just keep it in the fund. They're all really young. So they said, well, let's just find good things to invest in, to do good. Like, inherently, the capitalism has to do good by its very nature.
Yeah.
And so we were finding investments that fit that mold. So food, but restaurants that we could then use to feed the hungry, right, with profits and stuff.
Yeah.
So we became partner in a chain called Doghouse, which I think now has like 500 locations. But we got out well before that. I think that was the one investment that I just lost my shirt on.
Oh, really?
And we were cash pay.
Yeah.
No debt. Because we ran things differently.
Did you say you invested in Ripple?
Yeah, on accident.
Whoa.
So it was 2014, maybe end of 13. And I'm just like, I didn't know this, right? I'm 30 years old. And we've already explained who I was, right? I've never to this day had a mentor, not in a parent, not in the business community. And so I still to this day, I've had to just figure it out. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not stubborn. I would love a mentor. That would be fantastic. But because, you can shorten the learning curve, and not do stupid things with it, right? Not stupid mistakes or bad decisions. And so, so deals are just flying at you, right? When you have money, people find out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I was just like, oh, cool. Like, all these deals are coming, right? And
you were like leading the firm basically for them?
Yeah. So once we found out we were being stolen from, they said, could you just do this full time? That was not the plan. I didn't pitch, hey, let me do it. They asked me, hey, could you set this up? Just find us people. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I love that. And I'll go get it. I'll go get a job. 'Cause money and family, right? And I didn't know what I was doing. And I told them that. But once we got stolen from, they're like, look, we trust you. We'll figure it out. I was like, okay. And so that happened about the time my Army pay ended, and I took a pay cut. I got paid about half as much as I got paid in the Army to run this big investment firm because it was just family, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we were having deal flow was crazy. And, we had already invested in, like the underpinnings of what became My Medic, which was this company with these crazy preppers in Idaho. It wasn't even called My Medic. They were like buying cocaine and land for the second coming with our money.
Awesome.
Right. So we had already like done that deal.
Yeah.
We didn't know that was what was going on yet. We had already done the deal with OUR and like The Abolitionist, the movie and TV show. That was the name of it. And so we were almost to the end of like placing, capital. And but some deals, would fly across the table, and like someone called me, I can't even remember who. And they were like, hey, I got this thing I think you'll like. Honestly, it might have been this guy, Ryan Davies, who a lot of people who listen to this podcast know Ryan.
Yeah.
I think it was him. Anyway, someone did. They sent Ripple over. They sent the deck over. This is 2013, right? Like Ripple's, I think they were valued at 40 million when I got the deck. I got to make sure I don't say anything I'm not supposed to here. So I talk a little slower. That's why. So I get this thing and I'm reading it. Now, I got into Bitcoin in 2010 or 11, January 2011. Yeah, January 2011. Got into Bitcoin. And as a joke, it was $1.03.
Yeah.
I sold it when it went to $3.
Yeah, cool.
Like a king.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew blockchain and crypto. So I'm reading this Ripple thing and I read it so fast. I read it though. But they asked me what I thought. And I was like, honestly, I don't totally understand everything, but honestly, it just sounds super cool. I remember saying, like, this sounds pretty rad if we could dethrone Swift. That was like the pitch, right?
Yeah.
If we could replace the Swift and LIBOR and like all this stuff through the block. At the time, I didn't have a full fintech understanding like I do now. I just knew that, like, it was very punk rock. It was like we're just gonna put our thumb or our middle finger in the eye of the establishment, and I'm like, I want to be a part of that, you know. And so, looking back, it was very haphazard.
Did that do well? Did that investment do well?
Yeah. So we put I asked them what was the minimum we could put in to this, and so we put the minimum. But I think it was valued at $40 million at the time, and they still have the family office. You know, I'm not in the family anymore, and so I'm not part of it. But you know, what's Ripple's approaching? I mean, it's what it's $100 billion, a couple $100 billion.
Yeah,
so
should be a good investment.
You know, I think it matured into the tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars.
Oh, that's good.
But we were early to Dollar Shave Club, Uber, not Angel and Uber, but I think Series A, Honk, which was like Uber for tow trucks.
Yeah.
Classy, which was a platform for nonprofits, like Shopify for nonprofits.
Uh-huh.
We were angel investor in that. A bunch of those things. So we ended up in like 4 or 5 unicorns.
So it sounds like the fund did well.
Yeah. So I had one big loss. That was the restaurants. And the rest, honestly, is accidental wins. Like, looking back, I feel like it was accidental wins because I didn't have the technical knowledge. I didn't have the experience. I was really going off of like hunches. It wasn't I was just like, yeah, write a check, right? But I didn't have what I needed, that toolbox to really analyze the way I should have, the way I could today. So if it looked cool and I thought it could perform, and I would like do some market research, what I thought was market research at the time, make a few calls, you know, and then we'd talk about it as family and we'd make a decision. And so, you know, I said, look, this is what I think we get into this. And so we did. I'm trying to think of what else, you know, we were in farming technology. We were in, blockchain, entertainment.
No, it sounds like you got some great investments.
My Medic, we ended up, we were out of like money to place, right? And so My Medic, we learned the guy was buying drugs. And so, and the land for the second coming, these 2 dudes in Idaho. And I invested in them because I saw them at a trade show that Glenn Beck had up here, the Man in the Moon event.
Yeah.
It was before I met Glenn through all the child rescue stuff. But I really I thought I still think this. He's just a very creative guy. You know, to pay the bills, he does the conservative radio thing. Mm-hmm. But the dude's really like, he's an artist for sure.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go see this Man in the Moon, like live action steampunk thing. I was like fascinated by it. I even sold my mattress to go and have the money to go, because we didn't have the money yet. I wasn't married yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to buy a ticket, the tickets went on sale before I got married and had money. But I remember I had to sell my bed to go to Glenn Beck's thing because I wanted a VIP ticket. Because at the time I was building a tech platform to replace the VA. I wanted to create the private sector Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
In 2012 and 13. So I spent every last penny from the Army on this. And so I saw the Man in the Moon thing, and I didn't have money, but I thought, if I could get there, there's going to be people with money there. And they're all about the, you know, what I'm building. So I thought, okay, it's like, I don't know, it's like $400. And I have $400. I credit cards maxed, right?
Yeah.
I sold my mattress and my bed. I think a couple other things. I scrounged up the money, got the highest level ticket you could get, you know, for this Glenn Beck event. That also had this trade show. And so by the time the event comes around, I'm married and there's an investment firm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, me being me, I still snuck in to like where Glenn was and his staff. I just put on a badge. I flipped it around. I just acted like I was supposed to be there. And then I just went to the front row of like the private seating and I sat down and ended up sitting down next to a guy who, Adam Rich, who's to this day a great friend. And I got to know him and his wife. And then next to me was Glenn's co-hosts on his show. And I'm just like chatting it up like I'm supposed to be there, right? Like hoping they don't catch on. Like, who are you? And then there was a trade show, and I've been into business since I was a kid. Since I was 11, I knew exactly what I was going to do with my life. I was going to be an entrepreneur. And so I went to the trade show, and I see these guys selling trauma kits, Subway sandwich style. Like, what pack do you want? What case do you want? What do you want in it?
Yeah.
Longest line I've ever seen for anything at a trade show in my life in any industry. People were waiting, and they're paying $500, $1,000, $1,500. These like wacky prepper people, which I am too. I just you know. And so I went and talked to the guys, and I got their information. I didn't say anything, but I went back to family. I said, hey, I think I want to explore this. What do you think? Right. So we went after it. We ended up investing, I think, $750 into them. And at about the 700 mark, it was like, I'm checking in. I was checking in. And I had a feeling like what I was being told wasn't true. So I made a trip out there. And sure enough, one of the founders lied about it was stolen valor. One of the founders said he was a Marine. He'd never served. They were just, it was sad. They had families, kids, wives. They were in their 50s, and it was a sad situation. And so I had written a really simple contract, and I got it approved by our attorney. And that in there it said that if something like this happened, that no questions asked, I can just over the phone say, you're out. And I did, I consulted, with the team. And so we did it. And we sent, we didn't owe them anything after that, but we sent money to their wives directly.
Did you take over the business or what?
Me, the president of the company, who was a University of Utah MBA student at the time. And then the guy who whistle blew that our funds were being churned. I had hired him already. So the three of us and our small staff in our like suits, like I was not wasting time. I'm still like army mode guy, right? Like we're dressed for business. We went and rented trucks in like office clothes and drove to Idaho. And I don't know, it was like the summer, I think. It's hot. And we loaded up Ryder trucks or U-Haul trucks with like Band-Aids and gauze and bags and like prepper stuff and whatever we could take before, because the lease wasn't being paid by them. So it's like, dude, the sheriff's going to lock this place up at some point. Let's get up there. Yeah. So we got it. We put it in a warehouse in Salt Lake, right? We put it in a warehouse. And it had like 2 or 3 offices. It was not a nice warehouse. It was in Murray. Yeah. Like by the mall. Like, people were getting shot, right?
That business did really well, right?
Yeah. So we took it down there and it had a different name. But what I pitched to these guys was, hey, what I believe you could do is you could basically build a first aid company that is like GoPro and Red Bull had a baby, maybe mix some Apple design in there. And if you delivered that to the market, you could sell what are actually trauma kits, we'll call them first aid kits, to mom at Target. I just, to basically anybody. Yeah. So instead of just Band-Aids and gauze, we could be selling full-blown trauma kits, right? And her dad died, and maybe he'd be alive if he had tourniquets to stop the bleeding. Right. So that was the idea. And so we brought it down, and the founders were gone. And I'm the one who pitched this. So it was like a natural thing of, we met as a family or as a team, I guess. And it was like, well, the attorneys and the CPAs are saying, write it off. Do we write this off? That's what they said. And we're like, no. I said, look, I'll do what you guys want me to do. What do you want? They said, no, this is for our dad. Like, because someone stopped to help her dad when he crashed, when he was still alive, and he didn't have any supplies, and he didn't have any, the guy didn't have any knowledge of like how to help to stop the bleeding. And it's like, do you know how many soldiers like come back after stepping on an IED with no legs? Like I've served with a bunch of people like that. Yeah. And you think they're goners. It's like, throw some, dude, just slap a tourniquet and some dirt on that thing. Yeah. And let's see how it goes. And it's like with her dad, that was the mission is, what if that event took place? We could have preserved a family, right? Like dad's alive still or mom's alive still. We could do that for someone else. If we could trick mom at Target into buying a full-blown trauma kit by making it look like attractive and simple and sexy and highly branded. So that ended up falling on me. I'm coming up with names. I'm like, all right, we'll be data-driven approach. We'll take injury data. It's like all this stuff, right? Came up with a system. And so at the time, this did not exist. There was no first aid company doing anything except for pre-packing Chinese kits and shipping them over. We did the opposite. I was like, no, we're hiring nurses. We're hiring medics. We're hiring doctors for advisory staff. We're looking at data. We're doing product development. And the only reason we were doing this is because I didn't know what I was doing. If I was classically trained or if I had a normal life, I'd be pre-packing in China and making a killing.
Yeah.
Instead of everything being done here in the States. Like I'm like, no, QA, QC will happen by a nurse because they know what good gauze looks like.
Right.
You know? That's what we were doing.
But you did, like, how long did you run that company?
7, 8 years. And so we're in this dumpy warehouse. I mean, we're doing trade shows. We didn't even have a website. We're losing $80,000 a month. That's what I took over. And so I had to rebrand it. I had to come up with product because they were just doing crap in a bag still. And so I stepped away from the family office. And so that I left to the other guys. And I went full-time CEO, founder, my medic. And I had trauma medicine training from Special Operations, from being a sapper, engineer. And, you know, I knew what was needed to do that job. And I'm insane. So like I'll out research anyone. You know, I got to know everything. And so I was doing that. And then the president of the firm, my number 2 guy, Jackson, he's like, we should try e-commerce. And I'm like, okay, like what? He's like, I don't know. I'll get back to you. He tells me about this thing, Shopify. I'm like, oh, okay. So we shouldn't be custom building software for $1 million to do inventory management and like a front end website. You know, it's this thing that's like $12 a month.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know, man. And I looked into it and I'm like, oh, let's try it. And so we went from losing $80,000 a month doing trade shows, like in every state. I was on the road nonstop to building out one of Shopify's, honestly, like first real, like world-class consumer product brand. I mean, to date, they've probably processed, my medic's probably done like close to $1 billion in sales at this point.
So crazy, dude.
Right. And so
I gotta be respectful of your time,
sure.
and they're giving me the cutoff here as well. But we gotta have you back, number one. But let's go to why did you leave My Medic?
Okay.
Like, give me a sense for like the exit there, and then the now Tub Club.
Yeah.
And then maybe we do a part 2.
Sure. So I left My Medic and the family office, and I was chairing, I think, 2 charities at the time. I was in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, pretty typical, I think, for that like level of business. And I had hired a guy. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't. And we had hired a consultant who came from OUR. It was OUR's number 2 guy. And we hired him because he had a felony, you know. And I don't know, I'm an Army guy. I'm like, dude, I got a second chance. I'm a second chance guy.
Yeah. So
we hired him as a consultant, and very, very talented guy. So he was consulting on all the things. And then over the years, he, you know, performed. And it was pretty soon, like I think a couple years. And I just said, look, what if you're the CEO and like I just step down, I'll be president or something, you know, I don't know, I don't care, whatever the title is. I think I could learn from you. He was very quick to accept that one. And I learned a valuable lesson with that. But, you know, years go by and we're building these organizations together. And the whole time not knowing that he's a fraudster. And so he was, man, a charity, a for-profit, just everything. He was worming his way in to manipulate all the family members. He, I won't air all the dirty laundry, but it got to a point where I knew what was going on. It was 2020. COVID had kicked off. My medic was blowing up. 3M was coming to us for supplies because they couldn't get anything. We were like one of the only people who could get any product from anywhere in the world. And so it was bananas. And I could just, he was shady. And so I said, look, we need to go meet at the park. Also, he was really rude to my ex-wife. And I didn't take kindly to that. And so I said, we need to go have a talk out of the office. So we went to a park that was nearby. I told him, I was like, dude, the jig is up. Like, first, let's deal with the thing with my wife. Now let's talk about business. And real quick, he just got all fired up. And so, we had some words. I threw a lot of 4-letter words his way. And he very quickly got back to the office and ended up he told my own family, he had been manipulating for years. He said that I tried to hit him.
Oh, really?
And that I'm dangerous and I need to go. Like, I need to be gone. And meanwhile, like, I built this place, like, you have a job because of me and this family. And we gave you a second chance, and I'm the one who went to bat for you to have this job. And now you're doing this. And so we went back and I'm like, what? Like, I get back like 5 minutes after him. I'm like, what? They're like, you need to go home. I'm like, okay, yeah, like, cool off. I'm like, okay, I could see sense in that. So I go home, and the very next day they're like, the family's like, we think it's best that you're gone, that you're, not a part of this. So I resigned, right? Like, that's how we do it. We resign and, force quit fire. So, it was like 8 years building that and almost dying for it. Like, wild ride. And so I left everything the same day, all charities, all companies, everything. And I hadn't seen my family, really. I worked 7 days a week for 2013 to 2021, nonstop.
Wild.
I think I had 4 vacations. No, I think 2 or 3. Missed kids' birthdays, missed everything.
Yeah.
It was like I was still deployed.
Wow.
It never ended. And I would hide in the bathroom to work. I was on my honeymoon and I lied about like having to take a dump for 2 hours so I could work. It was so insane.
That's so bad. That's unhealthy.
Right. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be just as intense with my kids and being a dad. And so I was like, I'm going to be a dad. And it was amazing. And so that was my segue. No one's ever heard that except for like, I'm married now. 4th time is actually the charm, it turns out.
Nice.
She's amazing. We have 8 kids together combined. Yeah, so I was like a stay-at-home dad. I consulted, I did a lot of things, helped a lot of brands, but spent a lot of family time, traveled a lot, surfed a lot, for
Awesome.
about 2 years. I was MasterCard's AI, global AI product head for a while there. I was Chirp COO during that time for about 6 months.
Oh, that like,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
6 to 9 month, like consulting style stuff from like 2021 to 24.
And now you're doing Tub Club.
Yeah. And now I'm doing Tub Club. So I went from like child rescue and like huge operations, to
Well, this isn't your first swing at something like this, a consumer product.
brand
And
since
so,
2005.
Yeah, so it seems like you know what you're doing. What's the traction been? You recently launched this?
Yeah, idea came in 2019. I was losing my mind through stress, and my marriage was falling apart. Company was growing itself to death, right? Like growth was killing us. Black Rifle Coffee had moved in with us. Because that's a whole nother story. Anyway,
Yeah, another monster.
That was
brand.
stressful.
Yeah.
Like having Black Rifle Coffee in. I gave Evan my office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, I'll just move to like the janitor closet.
Yeah, I
or
don't
something.
know. A lot of people know that Black Rifle Coffee is a Utah company.
Yeah, they're great.
They don't really talk about that they're Utah.
No, they're good. I love them, but it added a new dynamic to the corporate side, and There's stress there. There's just stress everywhere.
Yeah.
And look, it's clearly I'm a rough around the edges kind of guy, but I do try to live I try to live a healthy life. And I was so stressed, and it's like I remember thinking I can become an alcoholic, I can go do drugs, I can get into porn, I can go to a bar. I was like going through my options. I can sit in the garage like
Those are some wild options.
I mean, I'm just being honest here. I'm a man. Like this is our options, right? I could sit in a cold garage, like, I don't know, doing all those things at the same time. I'm in the bathroom and I look over and I see my ex-wife. She's got this it's Lalia. It's like $82 bubble bath.
Mm-hmm.
Nice glass bottle. I'm like looking around, like, is she out there? Nope. She's with the kids or somewhere. I don't know where she was, right? She was not there. So I popped the cork, poured it in the bubble bath. I'm like, I'm going to try this out. And it was so calming.
Yeah.
I just listened to podcasts, take notes, have ideas for business, ideas on being a dad. And I realized really quickly after a few days, because I was doing it every day. Like, I don't know, say it's a Monday. I mean, this is now Thursday, Friday. I had done at least one a day, maybe two. Because I could work.
Churchill would do a bath every day.
I could work from there. No one bothers you in a bathroom for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just known from childhood that, like, if someone's in there, they're doing stuff you don't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So kids might knock on the door, but they're not going to open it. Even little kids. Then your wife is going to, she might come and talk to you, but for the most part, you're going to get some space. So I started doing that. And then I called my buddy up, and Dave, and I was like, dude, it was almost like asking your best friend if he's gay, but even harder. It's an even harder thing to ask. And I was like, so, do you, man, I was like, he's like, just say it, man. I'm like, well, do you take bubble baths? I felt so weird. It's like friend of 20 years. And he's like, yeah, man, every day. I'm like, wait, so when we lived together? He goes, yeah, I was taking bubble baths. I'm like, what? We're like, no. He's like, yeah, my whole life. I shower before I get in. I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, but I do it every day because stress.
Yeah.
It helps me center myself. I'm like, dude, like, we should start a club. And I'm like, Tub Club. And I said, and there's a Mitch Hedberg joke about club sandwiches. I referenced.
Yeah.
I said, look, put a frilly toothpick in this. This club is formed. And so we joked about Tub Club since 2019. And so in 2023, divorce starts. 2024, it's final. I lost every cent I ever made.
Wow.
I lost all assets. I had to borrow a car to sleep in. I don't really have any family. So I don't really have any friends in Utah because I just was a workaholic. And so I lived in a car that wasn't even mine for a while so I could be close to my kids. And this was in winter 2024. And it was like, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to roll over and die? Which I thought about. It's like, okay, again, what are my options? It's like the bubble bath, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, I can drink drugs. I can go find some hookers. I can become a degenerate and go rob people. I can go, I'm like, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah, exactly.
And, it's like, all right, kill myself, and so I kind of like sat on that for a good while. It's like, all right, well, how am I going to do that? I don't want to like damage the kids. I got to get this how do I get this person's car back to them? Like that was my thought is like, they're really going to be put out if I die and they don't know where their car is. I'm like really working that problem. Right. And then I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I had a baby that had just gotten out of the NICU. I'm like, I want to know this baby. And that's just not who I am. Like I don't quit, and I'm not going to quit on myself or anyone else. And so I thought, okay, this is going to suck. And I watched the Rocky clip where he talks to his son. It's like 2 minutes or something. I watched that and I got all fired up in this car, snow everywhere. I'm parked behind the dumpster of a church parking lot, hoping the cops don't roll me. I'm watching this thing and I'm like, all right, I don't have any money, and I don't have anyone. I don't have anything. Out of all my ideas, what could I do? Because no one will give me a job. What do I do? And I thought, well, I could probably do bubble bath for really cheap. I worked the problem. I went through all my ideas. I did quick analysis of what it would cost. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I could clean. I thought about cleaning because it's even cheaper, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I was passionate about building something that maybe other men are going through what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're not. They just need to get rid of some stress daily. I thought I want to do that. And everything I've been a part of up to this point has been very serious. It's like military and the business of war and death and rescuing kids from human trafficking, and everything was very serious. And I just thought, how refreshing to do something fun, not funny. The Tub Club's not a joke, just fun, and to help people in a fun way. And I just thought, I need that in my life. And so I committed, I'm going to do this. So still applying for jobs, not even a single interview, thousands of applications, not even an interview.
That's wild.
So I just called it, and I was like, okay. March of earlier this year, March. I guess I had been working on Tub Club for about 6 months, pretty hardcore, 6 to 9 months. So I can't keep applying for jobs. Dude, if I can't even get interviewed to be the street sweeper in the HOA, I mean, I was still applying for jobs I had, I was very qualified and experienced in, but if you can't even get the interview, it's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I thought, I just got to do this. So March, I wrote that. April it was. April, I wrote the LinkedIn thing. And I'm like, okay, my life's trash, lost it all. And this is what I'm going to do. So launch a men's bubble bath company, because the story behind it, men are not allowed to relax.
Yeah.
We're not just in America. Every other country, men are allowed to relax. In the U.S., I don't know why, culturally, if you sit down, you're lazy.
Yeah.
And you're looked down on.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you are going to relax, we're told we can drink, we can sit in a cold garage, or we can stare at a screen.
Yeah.
None of those are okay. That's not what men are on earth to do.
Yeah.
And that's not a way to relax. And being a family guy, I didn't want to leave the house. And so I really like this idea of bubble baths, of I could do this at home. I'm not leaving the family. I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's affordable to, daily or almost daily to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Then I looked at the market, and I'm like, I did a lot of research, and it's like, 30 to 40 million men are taking bubble baths in the United States over the age of 18, at least once a month. And there are 0 men's bubble bath companies. I just found this out last year.
Yeah.
When I really dug into it, right? So I'm like, okay, I can work with that. Imagine there's no men's shaving companies.
Yeah.
We all buy the pink Schick razor, or whoever, I don't know who makes them. Billy brand razors, right? For girls. They're great razors. Shout out to Billy razors if you're out there, right? But I think they're great. But imagine there's no Dollar Shave Club or men's Gillette brand to buy. That's the opportunity. So when I picked up on that, I'm like, okay, well, there's a lot here. There's already a baked in base. They're having to buy women's flavors of Rose Peony Garden, Queen Elizabeth's tea set. What? I don't want to sit in Queen Elizabeth's tea or your dumb roses.
Yeah.
They smell cool, but I don't want to bake in that.
Yeah.
I just don't. And so I looked everywhere for man flavors, couldn't find them. And I'm like, all right, this is a thing. Story.
Yeah.
I can make bitchin' product. I can make outstanding product.
Yeah.
And product packaging, all of it. I can do that. And there's 30 to 40 million dudes spending their money with women. And I bet you a bunch of them would be happy to buy all natural, organic, with man flavors, like tobacco, vanilla,
Yeah.
whiskey oak, apple, Captain Crunch,
Yeah.
Crunch berries.
How's it going?
So I launched 3.5 weeks ago. Big launch plan, strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've been building CPGs since 2005 with this company called Miramar that I started with my buddies, and I've always done it. Even the Army, I was still a part of building companies in some way. So it's not like the first time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I got stuff. I was proud of the launch plan, and I have no investors, so I've hustled this thing to market for around $5,000, including
Wow.
R&D, product R&D, software expenses, everything. And we go to launch day comes, every single platform suspended us or did something like that, froze our account.
Why?
Walmart said we were a fraud. I pitched Walmart. Like, Walmart thought we were great and was like, onboard the marketplace and we'll bring you in and we'll watch you. We onboard and their automated things were fraud. Like, dude, this is my EIN, this is my address, my passport, my driver's license, like multiple times, right?
Weird.
Their system, and then it says 5 minutes or less, right? So we get the answer back. It's like, okay, now you'll hear back from our team in 48 hours or less. It's been 3.5 weeks, maybe a month. I still haven't heard back from Walmart.
Where else are you selling it though?
So Amazon said we were fraud. TikTok said we were fraud. Facebook suspended all my accounts. They didn't give a reason. They didn't know the reason. And they said that there was nothing they could do to unfreeze them and that they weren't allowed to tell me an alternate course of action. So I just knew.
Wild.
I know. Instagram, we're allowed to post, but that's the extent of it right now. So Meta's basically shut down except for that. X is the only place that we were not flagged, frozen, suspended, kicked off. Even influencer platform. I'm like, okay, well, if I can't do Meta ads, or whatever, I'm like, okay, let's go to influencer platforms like right away. They were like, we will not allow you to be on here because we just don't think that men are going to want to do this. That was their answer. This is one of the biggest influencer platforms out there. And it's like, who are you to tell me like what they will and will not want? And it's very strange. It's like, we're the first ones to ever do men's bubble bath. Right. And so that's been the case. And so it's been nonstop working the problems with me and a co-founder, almost 24/7 with support for every single platform. It's like a full-time job, right? Of just back and forth, making the case, resubmitting documents, deleting accounts, using VPNs at libraries to set up new ones so our IPs and our GWIDs don't get detected and that we don't.
So crazy.
I still don't have Facebook. Collectively, my companies that I've been a part of, like as founder, owner, whatever, I mean, we've spent, I don't know, easily hundreds of millions of dollars in ads. I can't advertise on Facebook.
Wild.
So I just nuked the accounts a few days ago. I have no footprint.
So where you can sell on your own website?
Yeah. So we sell there, but Shopify, we had a couple hundred people sign up pre-launch, about 200-300 people. We sent emails out and they said, we think you're spam.
Weird.
And I've been on Shopify I've had so many Shopify stores. I've helped so many Shopify stores. And so it was like everything all at once. If it could go wrong, it did go. I've never experienced this. I've set up so many of these accounts. I've submitted.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've gone through submitting the document. Like, this is not new to me. I've never had. I probably had an issue with one or two here and there. That's natural. Yeah. I've never experienced a full block. Now, I don't think this is the supernatural. I don't think this is Big Bubble. I don't think there's a round table of ladies out there.
Yeah.
Big Bubble's not getting together to keep me out. I don't think that's the case. I just think it really is like one of those coincidences where it's like, sometimes life sucks.
Yeah.
There is no answer.
Yeah.
It just does. And it's one of those moments. And so we were all prepped to launch. We had, fire in our belly for this thing. And, the day we launched, we were stopped in our tracks. And so, like I said, it's been we're pushing 4 weeks now, and we've sold a couple $1,000s worth of bottles.
Well, how do people get in touch with you? And if people want to help, how do they do that?
It's the website right now is mytubclub.com. And they go there, and we're launching a new flavor every 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, for the next probably 3-4 months. You just check out the website, and then we TikTok unlocked our account so we can post, but we can't sell yet. So we're working through.
Cool.
Instagram we can post, X we can post and advertise, but until Meta's fully unlocked and our products are listed on Amazon, who also said we were fraud, took a month to get them to deal with it. We're uploading product actually today.
Oh, cool.
Right. So once we have all these touch points, so there's that sort of ecosystem, and people can do what they usually do, check it out on the website, read a few reviews, then go buy it on Amazon, right? Yeah. It's like then we'll start to see marketing. But no investors, but a lot of people have rallied behind me. This is not just me.
Yeah.
And we've got doTERRA's former head of content sweating it out with me. So he's, even before coming here, we were up talking, doing ad mock-ups on Sora, and he's a director, and right, so he's the technical side, and we've got Jeremy from formerly of KT Tape, Jeremy Nooms, and so he's helping me out with like Adobe stuff, and someone to bounce product dev ideas off of. He's a genius when it comes to product development.
Well, dude,
there's just a ton of people who are like, there's probably 7 or 8 people on the team who are just sweating it out to help because they just want to be a part. I'm like, look, I don't have any money. My investors bailed that I did have. And so I'm not stopping. And they're like, no, we're in this. Like super talented people.
You're grinding, man. It's awesome. Yeah. Well, I highly recommend everybody who's watching or listening to this, check out mytubclub.com.
Yeah.
Right? And dude, you need to come back because we could do a million of these. We could talk for hours. This might be the longest Silicon Salts podcast ever. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Congrats on everything.
I brought
Congrats
you a
on the launch. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's in the little box I brought.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.